guys, welcome back to my channel. My name is Selenia for those who do not know, and today I wanted to do a little video that came with like the highest paying nursing specialties that are like bedside nursing specialties, and I kind of wanted to go through them, rank them. I did a little bit of research, so I figured the research that I found out I'd pass along to you. So if that's something that you guys are interested in, then let's get right into this video. So I decided to put everything on my iPad because I couldn't remember all of this like off the top of my head. And the information that I found, I was like, are you sure? Are you sure? Because when you see what number one is, I'm be like, are you sure? Because I don't know if I agree with that. I'm not quite sure if that's how it actually is, but based on the research that I found and the websites that I was looking at, they kind of seem to say the same thing. But I just want to preface this video by saying that these salaries that I'm going to mention for these nursing specialties are not exactly exact. Everything depends on, let's say, the location of where you live, like cost of living. So maybe New York and California, they may be making a little bit more than, let's say, here in Texas or my home state of Wisconsin, just because cost of living is a little bit different than there. Also, your job and your pay range depends on your specialty that you're in. It also depends on how much experience that you have, how much experience you have walking into the door or in that specialty. It also depends on how the job market is, how the hospitals, do they need a lot of people? Are they hiring? They need people really bad, so they're paying ridiculous amounts of money with salary. All of that depends. Day shift, night shift, differentials, weekends, all of that changes. Overtime. So as you can see, there's a lot of different variables that come into your pay as a nurse. But this is just, I think, a basis. I kind of have ranges for each of them just because one website was saying something quite odd compared to the other one. So yeah, if you guys hear my dog, it's Storm. She likes to be in all the mix. Yeah, here she is right here. Okay. Don't mess up my sweater. I like this sweater, okay? All right, but what we're going to do is we're gonna go through, I have 9. I was going to do 10, but I think that it's 9 just because a lot of these other ones were like nurse informatics or like nursing manager and stuff like that. And I really just kind of wanted to do nursing specialties. I figured that would be helpful because I'm a bedside nurse and sometimes I don't want to know all of like the pay ranges of things like that. Those are like people who aren't always at the bedside, and I kind of just wanted to do that. So that's why we're here. So we're going through 9. We're going to start with the least paying one out of the highest list, and then we're going to work our way up to 1. Mind you, all these salaries sound pretty okay depending on where you live. And again, I gave you guys all of the background information of how your pay can change. But this is the information that I found. It's gonna be a pretty quick video, so let's just get right into it. So number 9 for the top paying RN specialties, we have like geriatric nursing. So pretty much geriatric bedside nursing. It's an older population, maybe those rehab patients, those people that you see in the med surg. I personally was thinking maybe, or like that you see in the hospital. I was personally thinking maybe med surg is kind of where I would think of geriatric nursing, because you do get people who are a lot older most of the time in med surg, but maybe there is an exact unit of gerontology nursing. So it looks like that I found that I did 2 ranges. So I went on one website and they had this price, and then I had another one and they were giving this salary. So $77,800, and I was getting $96,500. That's kind of the range that I was getting. So obviously you can see 96 is a little bit more than 77. And just a little quick thing, what I've noticed is basically, let's say, for example, you make $45 an hour as a nurse. If you make $45 an hour as a nurse, you can just give a rough estimate that you will be making about $90,000 a year. So you kind of just do your number that you make an hour times 2, add a few zeros, and that's kind of what you get. Now, is it exactly? No, but it's kind of a range, especially when you're looking at jobs. You're like, okay, they're paying you $30 an hour, and you're like, okay, $30 an hour is good. And then you do the math, like that's $60,000 a year. Can you live on that? That's kind of where you can get those numbers from. So that's number 9. So I feel like it's kind of cool that it's on the higher list, especially with that population, because not everybody loves working with that population, which same goes for all of these, but I thought that it was pretty interesting. So that is number 9. Number 8, this is something that I'm not very familiar with. I didn't even know that this was a bedside nursing specialty until I was doing this research, and it's pain management registered nurse. So I was reading into it, and it's kind of, they do post-op pain, they manage the pain, as well as those who have some chronic pain, and that seems like that's kind of their kind of population that they deal with. So they manage pain for those 2 types of people, there's probably more. If anybody down below is a pain management registered nurse, let me know, because I'm like, wow, that's pretty cool. And then a lot of the things is you can get like further on, and they were talking about making crazy amount of money. So I don't know. But this thing, 80,000 to 104,000, that's kind of the range that was shown to me when I was doing my research, which is a really big, broad range. While I go through these, a lot of the times it's like $20,000 to $25,000 difference than both of the two. So let's just say like a median number in there. But that's kind of what I got with that one. Number 7, I have women's health, and I was taking women's health nursing as L&D just because where I work, women's health is always known as, or women's services is always L&D or NICU, and it didn't specify NICU, so I was going with L&D. Not quite sure if that is correct to go off of, but that's what I was going pretty much based off of. So this one's saying 82,000 to 107, $107,000. So that is another big range, again, like about a $20,000 gap. But you can kind of look when you're looking at all these things. This just give you an idea of what it is, but you can look on the state that you're in, the city that you're in, all that, to kind of see what the average range that nurses make. But again, take in account your experience. If you're a brand new nurse, do not expect to be, well, let's not say do not expect, because things can be crazy. But if you look at the average, that's usually people who have a decent amount of experience. So if you're a new nurse, you may be making a little bit less, but of course, fight for what you feel like you deserve and what you need to like live on. Do you know what I mean? Because you make a difference. Number 6, we have psychiatric. This is kind of a grouped one. It's psychiatric, ped, and surgical registered nurse. Both of the websites kind of group them together. And psychiatric would obviously be like the populations where you deal with mental illnesses, which can definitely be bedside nursing. I love my psych class in nursing school. So something that I don't know that I could go into. I feel like I do deal with that when it comes to my specialty, but I give you guys hats off because that seems like really, really hard. But I always like those quizzes because all of the things were distinct with like side effects with like each med. And then pediatric would be like maybe like med surg general pediatric, and then surgical. I was thinking OR when they were saying that. So I found a range of $83,000 to $109,000, which is pretty good again. So far the lowest I found online for an average was $77,000, almost $78,000. So I don't know. Cost of living is going up now, but this is the information that I have right now. Number 5, we have oncology nursing. So that's, of course, people who have a population or they treat patients who have cancer. So those nurses would do chemo, manage, look for signs and symptoms, do all of those things. I feel like a very important, very crucial job. It wasn't saying like pediatrics oncology or adult oncology. It was kind of just going general. And I found $84,500 to $113,000. So again, that's a big range. So we're kind of going from there. And then number 4 would be cardiac nursing. I was seeing $80,000 to $115,000. Those are nurses who take care of those patients that have heart conditions, which a lot of the times if you're in other like specialties, you do deal with patients that have heart conditions, but these are the OG ones. These are the ones who know all the things about cardiac. They can probably go through the whole heart with ease. Now I can because I've been studying it, but like they are just with it. When it comes to the heart, comes to those patients, they know how to manage them with all of their past experience that they have. So there's that. And then number 3 would be the orthopedic nurse. So those are the nurses who help patients that have musculoskeletal disorders or diseases. So that's something to take into account for, because I didn't even think of that either. I didn't think that there's a musculoskeletal registered nurse, because I'm so used to where I work, we kind of deal with it all, if you know what I'm saying. But it's really nice to have a specialty, because if a nurse knows something and that is like their niche, that is their specialty, which they're all specialties, I feel like that's probably really comforting for the parents and the actual patients. I'm still in like child mode because that's just what I do. I don't ever think like adults. I think of like the babies and the children. Okay, but that one would be $85,000 to $115,000. So that's a little bit higher than all of the rest. Then I have number 2, which we're starting to get interesting, which I was like, I thought that they would be up here like this. Like when you hear this one, you'll be like, yeah, I feel like they would be up there too. It's emergency room registered nurse. So I was getting a range of $86,000 to $116,000. That's kind of the range that I was getting. So you have to think that those people have to be quick on their feet. They have to be in a fast-paced environment. They have so many patients a day. They see people, get them in, get them out, do all of those things. It's not saying other specialties are chill, but emergency room, you just think of crazy. You think of madness. You think of things that need to be fixed really, really quickly because it can be detrimental for the patient. So with it being up there, I personally thought that ER or ICU was gonna be #1, but it proved me wrong, because when I'm about to tell you what #1 is right now, I don't think it's true, but I'm gonna tell you. So #1 is a neonatal intensive care unit registered nurse, which is myself. And I'm like, the numbers that I'm looking at, and I'm like, what I make, this isn't adding up. Maybe this is like California numbers. This has to be California or New York numbers. But I was getting $97,000 to $127,000. And I'm like, maybe with OT shifts, maybe with all of that, maybe, but you gotta like work hard, pick up a lot of shifts to do that. But those are the numbers that I saw. I do think that it is well deserved, just because I know all of the hard work and how important this nursing specialty is. But it shocked me, because I was like, and the numbers that they were getting, I looked at so many different sources, and like, these are the numbers that they were getting. So I was like, but I do kind of believe it on, at least online. I don't know how accurate this can be. I hope it's really accurate, because I'm sharing the information. But when I first started working at a bedside NICU nurse, when I first graduated new grad, I was looking at like how much people were making in Wisconsin, and I think it was like $37 an hour or something like that was an average. So I go do my interview, they tell me how much I'm gonna make, and I'm like looking, I'm like, that is not what it said online. Like, that's not what it said online. They were like offering me $10 less. I took it and did everything that I need to do, but I'm just like, that was probably like $60,000 a year, which is obviously different living in Wisconsin, living somewhere that has a high cost of living. But I'm like, $97,000 that's popped up here to $127,000. I was like, where are these girlies making this $60 an hour? Where are they? Where do you live? Where do you live? I need to know. And that isn't travel nursing. Where do you live? But I love what I do. You deal with really sick infants, premature infants, infants that have some chronic disorders, everything. You literally deal with everything. I feel like it is a melting pot of everything that you get. You have preemies, you have big babies, you have trick babies, you have babies on oscillators, you have babies who need ECMO. You have literally everything. So this specialty is well deserved. I hope all of the jobs look at the range and they start paying the NICU nurses what they deserve when it comes to stuff like that. But pretty much I got this information. They were kind of using rates from 2022 to 2023. That's about the most recent that I could get. It is 2024 right now. It is February, but not everything was like up to date. That's kind of the information that they probably got from last year and the year prior. So I figured that it would be a good, what are you doing? Okay, stop. Come here. Okay, so this is all the information that I got. I'm sure that I can do like an updated video in like a year or so and like do another kind of like research opportunity to see what actual nurses get paid. I'm thinking of doing a non-bedside RN jobs as well, because I know a lot of people are interested in those that don't have to like do the 3 12-hour shifts or anything like that. So if that's something that you're interested in, let me know down in the comments below. I think I'm gonna do the video anyway, but it'll just be nice to know if people are interested in those types of things. I think that pay transparency is important, and I feel like trying to make sure that other people are getting what they deserve as well as yourself, I feel like really important. And I feel like I'm an advocate for that, because we all work to help people, but we also work so we're able to provide for ourselves and our families and all of that. So it's important to have pay transparency just to make sure everybody's getting what they deserve, if that makes sense. So I really hope that you guys enjoyed this quick little video. Thank you guys so much for watching. I'll see you in the next one, and have a wonderful day. Bye, beautiful.